Hey, welcome to Drink, Laugh, Judge. We're your hosts, the Screaming Axeman.
And Amber of Darkness.
And we're here to rank the Halloween franchise movies. Starting right off with the worst one. Everyone knows what it is. Halloween Resurrection. Busta Rhymes. The death of Laurie Strode.
Why don't you like the sweet, Myers, live streamed house thing that was so hip in early fucking 2000s?
What works for Scream does not work for Halloween. You start off with probably the worst send-off you could possibly dream up for Laurie Strode. Just falling off the top of the sanitarium and just landing all awkward and dumb.
It's that South Park death noise.
The trap she sets up for him is probably the worst thing I've ever seen in film. It's like sort of like this half-assed Looney Tunes thing. It just snares him.
She owned him.
He slowly, Kevin McAllister could have captured Michael Myers better than Laurie Strode.
It's true.
It's just a slow motion snare where he just slowly gets upturned and just dangles. and she still finds a way to die. So
what about the sweet freaking kung fu fight between LL Cool J and Michael Myers though too?
Busta Rhymes.
Busta Rhymes.
You're thinking back to H2O.
I am.
Which I think the mentality of that was, hey, let's one up it and get Busta Rhymes. Yes. He's hip, he's cool. And my God. So yes.
There should have been a rap battle too. It would have been way better.
It would have been better, yeah.
Did they have a theme song for that one too? Specially written, Deep Blue Sea? You know, where they did the little fin thing, except they have
Yeah.
They had to have
Shark Fin or whatever the fuck. Don't bring Deep Blue Sea into this. It's a childhood favorite.
I know, it's great, but they didn't do one for Resurrection. It's such a shitty movie. I think I've only seen it maybe twice, because it's the first time you watch it, because it's oh, it's new, it's a new Halloween movie, and the second time is it can't be as bad as I remember. Oh, it's as bad as I remember and worse.
I think we should add too, though, I will watch these terrible sequels over and over again. I don't care.
Yeah.
This is the one I've watched the least, but I'll watch it again. I don't care.
Number 10, we're gonna go with Rob Zombie's second Halloween.
Yeah, where did we go wrong here? The fake out opener is probably the best part of that movie.
Yeah.
In the hospital, you think you're getting kind of a little remake of the second Halloween, and it actually, there's some brutality in that.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool, and then bam, dream sequence.
Yeah, it's a lot of dream sequences.
Which it works. To me, it works, and then you kind of present day, Laurie Strode's. Dealing with some shit.
Yeah,
she's
as usual.
She's not so picture perfect in this one. She's got band T-shirts now. She's got the posters on the wall. She's really gone off the deep end.
Yes.
Rob Zombie can't write dialogue to save his life, and it's just it shows.
That's one of the things with him. It's his visuals are cool, but he can't write. He shouldn't write.
Yeah,
and he needs to get somebody else to help him cast.
I think he is a very good director.
Yeah.
I think he's very capable, and he's got an eye.
Yeah, his artistic eye, it's interesting.
He needs somebody to help him with those scripts, though. We can't all be from the trailer park, and even that, it's man, I remember kind of making some half-ass scripts when I was in junior high, and it's that's what it's written like. It's just you throw in a bunch of crap, a bunch of curse words, and it's dude, that's come on. It's Halloween, man.
I'm a cool dude.
All right. So, there's not much to really go off on that one. Michael Myers is a hobo. He's wandering around killing people brutally, which is great. One of the things that a lot of people had issues with is he grunts in this one. When he kills people, he just...
It's almost sexual and weird.
I like that.
Also just Michael Myers running around like a hobo. Do you remember that Simpsons hobo song?
Oh, no.
No, not a stabbing hobo. I'm a singing hobo. Nothing beats the hobo life. Stabbing people with my hobo knife. How come nobody's mashed that up? That would have been perfect.
That would be a good one.
Anyways, so what, on to 9? Is this number 9 now?
Number 9.
Rob Zombie's first Halloween.
So, let's just take Halloween and completely redo Loomis, make him an asshole. Let's explain what goes wrong with Michael Myers, taking away any sort of horrifying, conclusion we can draw in our own imaginations, and it's just this asshole kid who kills animals. And
well, it's all just kind of right on the surface. It takes away that, using your own imagination to fill in the gaps on a lot of that. You know, it's just not.
This is also probably the strongest point of the movie too, though, is the young Michael Myers intro.
Yes.
It is well done. Mm-hmm. It's not what you want to see for Halloween, but it's a good piece of film right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything else is just sort of like, man, Tyler Mane. I like Tyler Mane, but Michael Myers is not Jason Voorhees. I think that's everyone's kind of beef with that one. Is like, dude, he's busting through walls of that. First off, there's no progression from when he goes from little Michael Myers to big Michael Myers. Like, he's in his cell, and he's sitting there, and then, like, they show years passing, and then all of a sudden, he's, like, goddamn 7 feet tall and ripped like this guy should be, like, in WWF. You know, real life, but...
Well, then also, it's just, like, you're thinking, like, Michael Myers was kind of, like, in a stasis kind of mode for, like, all these years. And it's just, like, how did he get so ripped?
I couldn't keep that visual in my head of Michael Myers just lifting and out in the yard, just, you know,
looking good, Michael.
God,
getting swole.
You know, and where's that montage in this whole thing? Anyway,
I want a Michael Myers training montage. Let's do it. Somebody.
Anyway, personal opinion on this one. I truly believe this would have been one of Rob Zombie's best movies had it, one, not been called Halloween, and two, he just changed the characters' names.
Yeah.
Look, he wrote in there, Michael Myers makes all these different masks. You see in his cell, he's got all these different, entire wall of masks. You could have made this your own thing, even with the Dr. Loomis character in there, because he in no way, shape, or form encompasses Dr. Loomis. You would have made a couple connections maybe, but not enough to be like, oh, he ripped off Halloween, because it's, honestly, this movie is not Halloween. So
yeah,
I think it would have been one of his better movies if we weren't comparing the two, and he didn't have the mask. Also, if little Michael Myers wasn't wearing the big Michael Myers mask when he was killing his sister, because that's just dumb.
Yes.
That took me right out of it.
Anyways, going on to number 8. Mine is number 6, Curse of Michael Myers. I just don't really feel the whole, like, Cult of Thorn thing, and it's probably the movie I don't know. I just, that doesn't really do much for me. I'm not a huge fan of, like, the 4, 5, 6, like, run anyhow. They're still fun. I still like to watch them. But if I had to, like, pick probably my least favorite, it's going to be number 6.
My pick for this one was number 5. And I'm the same way. I like 4, 5, 6. That storyline is a jumbled mess, but I enjoy those ones. Mm-hmm. 5, I feel, is like, man, just out of left field. All of a sudden, Jamie Lloyd's connected to her uncle. No explanation needed. It just,
creepy uncle.
Of all the directions you could have gone, there's a lot of, great scenes in this movie, but it just really falls apart. They sold it on, Michael's unmasked in this one, and that's not even really a selling point or a saving grace for it.
Yeah.
It's fun, but and of course, those police officers, I don't remember their names, but it's like this attempt to bring in humor to it.
Yeah.
And it just, it hits like a wet fucking fart. They have the goofy music pops in, and it's just, like, Rachel's being stalked by Michael Myers, and it's like, oh man, this is tense. Mm-hmm. And then she runs out of the house in the bath towel, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
The dog's outside. It's kind of creepy. And then all of a sudden, this goofy ass music pops up, and here's these two officers, and it's like this comedic. Just it does not work.
Just fucking Officer Doofy type of. Yeah, no. Number 7. So my pick for number 7 is going to be for The Return of Michael Myers. I don't know, it's okay. Like, I'm not huge on the whole, like, Jamie Lloyd story arc. Like, it's a fun movie, but that's gonna be my number 7.
My number 7 is number 6. I like this one. There's a lot to not like about it. You've got the cult. You've got the recasting of
Danielle Harris.
Yeah. The recasting of Danielle Harris. It's on the plus side, it's a darker movie. This thing is, it just feels like a Halloween movie. It's you're in your 90s, well into it. You've got darker kills. You've got the ending of this movie. It just goes 100 miles an hour. The chase scene through the hospital is great. The scene in the surgery room where he just takes apart all the surgeons is awesome. Paul Rudd is awkward and weird as Tommy Doyle, and it works. It's also the last one with Donald Pleasance, legendary Dr. Loomis. And it does it does end suddenly because it's been cut to death, and I don't recall if Donald Pleasance died in the middle of filming or not, but it just sort of ends. But I do enjoy this one. It's I put it above 5 for sure.
Moving on to number 6, mine is going to be number 5, The Revenge. It's super goofy, the whole psychic connection, everything. But I like the whole psych ward thing with Jamie Lloyd in there, and it's just fun. I just thought it was probably the most fun of that trilogy. I enjoyed it a lot. So,
my pick is number 4. This one is probably the best of the following sequels. Up to H2O. It feels like Halloween. That opening sequence, the insane asylum, that whole piece is just great. It, however, does fall apart with the multiple masks and the fact they don't even have a good one in it. But I mean, there's a couple scenes where you got a strangely different colored mask in one shot, and his jumpsuit. There's something going on with that. It's stuffed with something.
Gotta make him look beefy.
Like it's so awkward. But the movie on its own, it's very solid. You've got Sheriff Meeker, who's sort of a replacement for Sheriff Brackett. Much more of a engaged character against Michael Myers. There's him, stalking the house, taking out the cops. The police station scene where he killed all the cops. They don't show it, but they show the aftermath. I thought that was awesome. You really get invested with Jamie Lloyd, and of course, the ending. It's ominous. It's you're led to believe that this little girl's on the same track as young Michael, and I love it. I love that movie.
I just love the beginning of 5. What was that when he does the little Michael water luge down the waterfalls? That is also why number 5 is awesome.
It's always fun to see how they cut these movies together because it's never the same writing teams, and they gotta. Okay, where do they leave us? Oh, great, the little girl killed. We're led to believe she kills her stepmother, but in 5, she just she's fine, but then I don't think they really ever address it. But but Michael Myers, once he was gunned down by police officers, he was further. They threw dynamite down the old mine shaft or wherever the hell it was, and he floats off to safety and is taken care of by an old man who doesn't know any better.
Just some old bog
this
hillbilly.
This guy doesn't know the history of Haddonfield. He's oh, it's Michael Myers. No, he has no clue. So he nurses him back to health. It takes an entire year to do so. All right, up to Halloween.
Which is just incredible because I kind of want to see how did this guy nurse Michael Myers back to health? He didn't murder him? Is he spoon feeding him soup?
No, he's got one of those little gerbil water things. So it's just sort of it just drips.
Does the mask have to stay on the entire? This guy giving him sponge baths?
Well, it just show he does not have his mask on. So
that's
the old
true.
guy had to die.
Yeah, obviously, at some point he had to die, but I would love to see those behind the scenes. On to number 5, H2O. This is a super fun sequel. I just like it all around. You got Jamie Lee Curtis back in there, and what was that? Josh Hartnett?
Oh, yeah.
A very young Josh Hartnett, who was a huge heartthrob of the late 90s, early 2000s.
He was the go-to teen.
Of course, in this movie, what is up with his hair? He's got some weird ass haircut thing.
I don't remember
on.
Any of the girls, mentioning the hair back in the day.
No, but looking back now, it's just what a nerd.
The haircut does not hold up.
No.
This one in The Faculty too. He's in another movie I love. There's something he butchered his hair, and it's just I guess it worked though. I mean, he was the biggest thing for a long time.
Yeah, for a very long time. But just a really fun watch from beginning to end. Very enjoyable. There's it's just a fun movie.
I think my pick is Halloween Kills. a lot of people were outraged by this one, and I can kind of see some of the points. I love this movie. It just goes. There's no lull. There's no real storyline even. I mean,
like ultra violence. Like it's just fun.
it's an ultimate slasher, and it's great. It may not be. I would have preferred, something that was more in line with 2018, kind of that. I think it still has that feel, but it just goes 100 miles an hour. You've got some of the old victims: Lindsay Wallace, Tommy Doyle, Nurse Marion, and some of them don't last so long.
I mean, just like that scene where he has like those kids like all killed with like the Halloween 3 masks on. Like you have those iconic kind of cool moments like that.
Well, the nods to the past sequels.
And then the lady with the freaking iron when they're all trying to kill Michael Myers. Like she is my hero of that movie. It's fantastic.
The final scene where they just do this Royal Rumble beatdown of Michael Myers. If you look closely, there is a woman holding an iron.
Yep.
And she just takes it to him.
Yeah, she does. It's my hero.
But yeah, the issue there, I mean, we're like, back to basics, and all of a sudden he gets his ass kicked, stab shot. They shoot him like a good number of times. I wasn't counting, but it was
completely like 2018 is a very grounded Halloween movie. Like the first one, like this is a plausible horror. Kills just goes balls to the wall. It's super fun. I mean, this guy should have been dead like 20 times over during this, but he's not because he's Michael Myers. So that brings us to my number 4, which is Halloween Kills. For all of the previous stated reasons, just ultra violent, crazy, out of the realm of reality, a fun, like, heart-pacing movie from start to finish.
So yeah, my number 4 is Halloween 2018. I like this one a lot. The opening at the sanitarium, he's out in that field, or the
rec area.
The rec area,
yeah.
I thought it was great. The way they shot it, he doesn't have a mask on, but they don't really show him. They show sides of him. Perfect actor to portray that. And this one I think David Gordon Green's a terrific director and really captured the essence of the original Halloween. Jamie Lee Curtis is at the top of her game in this one. The new characters they're bringing in are great. You emotionally get connected to them. There was some issues with the humor kind of injected in there, and I don't see it. I thought the movie was just fine. It was great. Dialogue was great. There are times when it's disjointed. I know they cut this one a few different ways. They had there was initially a couple different ways that Michael escapes. And you kind of get a sense of, some little areas, but it's all covered up by just that atmosphere and the acting. And Michael Myers is once again a formidable horror icon to the level he deserves. And yeah, so this one just really. I watched this one about 100 times when it came out.
Immediately.
I had issues with the Doctor storyline in that one initially. It's grown on me a bit. There's a few things I feel they could have, smoothed out, but one of the best ones is sort of like bringing back the escape, or the inmate thing when the bus crash and they're all kind of scattered along the road. It brings you right back to the first Halloween when they pull up on Smith Grove. And I didn't know they let them wander around.
It's going to bring it to my number 3, which is going to be Halloween 2018. So I love the fact that they injected some humor into this movie, and it's not like overtly. This is just the way people interact with each other. Mm-hmm. So having a movie that's completely somber and whatever the whole entire way through, that's not how people interact. And there are points in this movie before anything that is known is wrong. You have these teenagers, that whole story arc. You have just this family dynamics. And I also love the fact that they kind of gave each little character on that screen like a little bit of a backstory, so you do get emotionally attached to them, and then of course they get murdered, so that's always super fun. And then can we just talk about how amazing Jamie Lee Curtis is as just whacked out, crazy, old, don't give a fuck, like Laurie Strode. Like, she is just a badass on her compound that's just like gated off, and
Fortress.
she has those yes, and then she has all these crazy like freaking traps. Like, you expect like Jigsaw to come out at some point, but it's.
I would love to see the fire inspector inspect that place after it's burned down and be like, what the hell?
Exactly.
She's not getting any sort of insurance claim on that place.
I just kind of want to line my backyard now with like creepy mannequins, but
That was the thing too. What
Yeah.
the hell? Like, mannequins. You chose the mannequins.
yeah.
One of the scariest scenes in that one is when she goes in the room and all the mannequins from her yard are in that damn room and
Her
bloody.
spares, yeah, and it's like, oh gee, I wonder where Michael is.
Well, that's the thing too. It's like, where did you get the time to move all those goddamn mannequins up into the? I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna start picking apart Halloween
Nope.
movies. I'm better than that.
Nope, and you guys have seen it, so I'm sure you already know. But everything about that movie, I did feel like it recaptured kind of that feel of the original Halloween. Like, you really get that, Midwestern Halloween feel. Like, it just has that whole mood. Just awesome watch front to end.
All right, I think we're at our top 3.
Yeah, we are in our top
Or
3.
you started the top.
I did start my top 3,
okay.
so what is your...
My number 3 would be Halloween H2O. I remember when this one came out, it was Laurie Strode's back. It's,
Yeah.
the ultimate matchup is back, and it was perfect. It was the perfect continuing storyline. And that Nurse Marion connection in the beginning, that opening scene, again, is terrifying. The home invasion thing where Joseph Gordon-Levitt goes through there. He's walking
Yes.
the house. I mean, there's nothing more just tense than that. And then, of course, yeah. Oh, that opening scene is just so great. Yeah, I don't feel that one's got really any flaws. There is the issue with the CGI masks in some of the shots.
Yeah.
I don't really recall that. Now it's, I see it every time. It just kind of ruins it. And it's 'cause overall, I thought the mask was fine. It doesn't look like the original mask. It's different. None of them do, other than, I thought they did the best job on the most recent ones.
Yeah.
But a mask I thought was just fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. H2O is my number 3.
Going into number 2 and number 1, which you guys already know what's left. So starting off with number 2, it's gonna be Halloween 2. I mean, it's the ultimate double feature movie. Like, it's the same night, it just cuts right in. There you are.
That's how I was watched it as a kid. It was always on TV, I think, one after the other. That's how I've always watched it as a kid. And it's just, I know there's some issues with, it's number 2's boring, it just drags through the hospital. No, it's just, no, it works. It's just this dream state sort of stalker, just full. When it goes, it goes. But it does have some slow burn stuff in there. But I mean, there's
Slow burn like the hot tub. Good one. I see what you did there.
very nice. Well, I mean, you have that elevator scene where
Yeah.
Michael's finally chasing after her, and it's like the slowest elevator doors. Like, he's like 5 feet away. She's hitting the button. It doesn't go until he's like almost reaching in. And thank God these doors don't, have
Yeah.
a safety feature, because his little claws in there, coming right at her.
It's just fun. I mean, people who say it's just dragging through a hospital, it's boring. Like, have you ever been in a hospital, like, after hours or, like, in a closed-down wing? It's terrifying. Like, it's horrifying. Like, it's a perfect setting for a horror movie. It's a great setting for a Halloween movie.
On that point, too, though, there are no doctors in this hospital. No doctors,
Besides
nurses, no nothing. There's there's only like 3 or 4 kills, and that's the entire occupants of the hospital right there.
I mean, it's a small town. We're just suspending our disbelief that say that there's probably a doctor somewhere and eating a strudel somewhere. I don't know. But there is the nurse. There's a sexy nurse getting it on with the paramedic.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, there's a staff there. But it's an awesome movie. I love it. I don't care what people say. It is number 2 is number 2. That brings us to the obvious number 1. It's number 1, just Halloween.
Still the greatest slasher horror to this day. Nothing beats it.
Yeah.
It's ominous. It's got the feeling of October. It just Michael Myers is just the creepiest of those killers. He just is.
It is, because it's a plausible horror movie too. Like, I love just crazy you know, unbelievable horrors. But it's like this guy, it's just a regular dude who's like an escaped mental patient coming back to finish the job. Like, that is creepy because it could happen. And my mom actually just texted me the other day and said, oh, we just watched the original Halloween and I forgot how freaking scary it is. Because it still is. It's still terrifying. It doesn't matter how many times you've seen it. It's still a scary movie.
Well, there's no reason for why he killed. It just, one night he decided to kill his sister, and then one night he decided to escape and come back after the town of Haddonfield.
Yeah, I mean, that was that whole scene too, where it's just like all the mental patients like out in the freaking field. That's horrifying. That shot alone is just really scary.
The decision to go with minimal blood is so it's up there with sort of the Hitchcock and stuff like that.
Because you know what he's doing. Your imagination can fill it in, like it, but it's still, you know, terrifying and violent.
Well, you also got the view of the killer. So you've got first person camera, and then also he's lurking in the background of a lot of shots. It just kind of, and when you notice it, it's you know, well, you got that score that's kind of driving it as well, and it just kind of gives you that little chill. None of the other movies, none of the other horror movies can really provide that, other than just, you know, you got your shock, you know, your jump scares, you've got your slashers and gore fests, and that, which are all great, but this one it holds up just because of that, the atmosphere of this movie.
The staying power also makes this the number one, because it doesn't matter 50 years from now, long after we're dead, this is still going to be heralded as one of the best horror movies ever made. It really will.
Well, it's the standard. Yeah. It's always been the standard.
Exactly. So that concludes this list, but we also just want to let you know we did leave Halloween 3 out, so you probably noticed that.
Yes, we both enjoyed that one. It's a lot of fun. It's crazy shit, but it's
unfair to put it.
It's its own thing. Its own thing. Yeah. Halloween 3 is fun. Tom Atkins and
you gotta love Tom Atkins, that mustache. I mean, come on.
So that's it for our ranking list for the Halloween movies. Let us know what your least favorite and your top choices are. We're looking forward to watching Halloween Ends. How do you think it's going to end here for Jamie and Michael?
Oh my god. I've been really trying not to like listen to any fan theories or anything. The only theory...
Oh, I've heard them all.
Yeah, he's heard them all, and it's fine. I've been trying to go in blind. The only one that snuck past it was the radio tower. Like, he's controlled by the radio tower or something like that.
Let me tell you, in the history of fan theories, no one's gotten the theory correct on any movie. But no, there's some crazy shit out there. If you just do a quick YouTube search for Halloween Ends theory, well, you get some people need to get checked out. But
I think it's going to be a blood fest. I mean, I think I think Jamie and him are going to be taken out.
I think they'd have to, and this is the last one for David Gordon Green.
And Jamie Lee Curtis, I think, is done too.
This is her last one.
Laurie Strode might be done.
She's had a traumatic run here. I think. I think they both meet their end. How that happens, I think they're probably mid-knife fight. They think they both have knives and they're going at it, and they just kind of drift off in the traffic and they get taken out by a semi-truck via Pet Cemetery.
Really? I'm going to say
style.
that I'm going to go with more of the alien route, and I think Laurie Strode is going to have like a Ripley freaking suit on and just take him out like one of those.
How cool would that be? She just grabs him and just plucks his arms off one at a time, unmasks him.
Flicks him right in the face.
Right in the nuts.
Right in the nuts. Fuck you, Michael. But yeah, that's what I'm going to go with. Ripley's alien.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think those actually, compared to the other theories, that's
pretty sound.
Those are pretty
And on that, I'll drink to that.
We'll see you next time for the next video. Thanks for checking us out.